Now, Jimbo Covert, one of the best when you talk about offensive linemen and everything that he was all about, probably even a greater man. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, congratulations. I called you.
Thank you.
The morning the news broke.
You did.
Jack, the morning news, I called Matt Suey and I said, listen, man, can I please get Jimbo's number? And he goes, listen, Jared, call him right now. And you know Matt, hey, Jared, just call him right now. He would love to hear from you. And the fact that you picked up the phone and we had our conversation, and the first thing that I said to you was, I know how proud my dad is right now.
Yeah.
And you said the only thing that hurts is that he's not going to be here for mine. I was there for his. But you know he's
put him in.
Yeah, you know he's going to be there in spirit for you. And when we think about that offensive line you were a part of in Chicago, blocking for my dad, only one guy, it's you, that's going into the hall. It seems like there should be a couple more from that group.
Right. Yeah, I'd love to see Jay get his chance, and he deserves it. And you know, it's just such a remarkable feeling. And you know, I asked Matt to present me, and Matt said, you know, what he said to me, Jared, he said, I feel like this is the right thing because it would be like Walter and I both putting you in.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was pretty emotional.
Oh, man, I just got chills thinking about it. And hold on real quick, Jack, before you say anything. If you know Matt, that's not he likes to be in the background. He does not want to be in the forefront. So for him to say yes, that is super, super special.
Well, when I ask him, he goes, I don't know about that. You know, I get pretty emotional. I can't do that stuff. You can do it. Come on. It's not a big deal. So,
what's that phone call like?
When I was in San Francisco, so it was 4 o'clock in the morning I got up for this thing. And then I don't know if you watched it live, but they were like, it was supposed to be on at 7. It was like 7:15, 7:20, and they didn't announce anything yet. And I'm like, if I got to wait for 3 hours to find out if I get in, I don't think I'm going to make it, you know, because I was on pins and needles for a week. And but when you get that call, it's just you think you can remain composed, but you can't. I mean, it's just your whole life flashes in front of you in like 1 second. You know, your wife, your kids, your family, your parents, everybody, all your teammates. And it's pretty emotional.
Was it always a dream and a goal? Because I've talked to a lot of guys that have gold jackets. Some of them say, you know, I just love playing the game. It wasn't the dream to get to this point. I think a lot of guys dream about winning a Super Bowl or winning the big game, but isn't it hard to kind of fathom that you could be in the hall with like less than 400 people in there, that all the greats, and now that your name is going to be alongside the greats? How does that make you feel?
You know, that you never think about stuff like that, like when you're playing. And then a couple years after you're done playing and people are like, hey, you got a shot to get in the Hall of Fame, and you're like, yeah, maybe. And then 25 years goes by and nothing happens, you know, and you just think maybe it's never going to happen. And then when this Centennial class happened, I think the dynamic changed, you know, because it wasn't just a normal 48 guys voting. It was this blue ribbon panel. So you have Belichick and Madden and Ron Wolf and Bill Pollard, personnel guys, Ozzie Newsome, players. And I think then, you know, the dynamic changed, and I think that's one of the reasons I got in because of that, is because it's just different influences in the room, you know, and I think that was a good thing for me.
That Bears championship team, you guys were rock stars. Even had your own music video.
Yeah.
When you look back on that year, I mean, really one of the all-time greatest teams, but that ride.
Yeah, I mean, and I was just talking about it today. I mean, we had so many characters on that team. You know, you had all the defensive players. You had the Fridge. You know, you had Singletary. You had, you know, Hampton, Dent, McMichael. But Walter was the glue that held all that together. I mean, we don't go to the Super Bowl without him. I mean, and he was such a steadying influence on everybody. I mean, he treated, you know, a rookie or a first-round draft pick the same way, all his teammates. And he treated the fans that way too. And I was lucky because, you know, Matt and Walter were best friends, and so back in the day, nobody got a single room. The only one who got a single room was your dad. And so, but his room was always next to ours with the door open, you know, so he was always in my room, and he'd jump on me in the mornings, coming up, good morning, sunshine, time to go play some football.
That is so awesome. I wish I was old enough to be around, like 15, 16, 17, if I was a little bit older, to understand the magnitude of that ball club because it was so special. And covering teams now in Chicago, the Cubs in 16, I understand that. But everybody says that 85 was special. It was just different. And you guys were doing it a little bit differently. Yeah. I went to the London game, and I was watching the team come out, and everybody's like, this was totally different in 85. I said, what do you mean? People were calling people on payphones, and there was hundreds of thousands of people like sitting around waiting for you guys to get off with no internet, man. How crazy is it to think about the impact that not only you had in Chicago, but you had on the football world?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went to London, and we were like rock stars, and we went over there to play. I mean, and it was funny because you go around, and they'd say, you're these American footballers, and they just fell in love with football. And the reason – and I firmly believe it. The reason you see games in London and Mexico City is because of the 1985 Chicago Bears, because it just popularized football around the world.
So I've got to ask one question that I know he's going to be way too humble because he's got that Peyton humbleness. But I was, as a Bear fan, incensed, little ticked that it was the fridge that scored that touchdown and not Walter Payton in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How about you guys in the locker room? Was that one of those things you would have loved to given him?
You know what? Here's the thing. I always tell people that because Mike Ditka felt bad about it, but nobody even thought about it, because we didn't think it was that. I mean, if he would have said to us, like, I'm going to score a touchdown, we would have given it to him 100 times in a row. But nobody thought about it, and he would never say anything.
Nope.
But it meant the world to him, and he wouldn't say it. If he'd have just said something, But, I mean, if you go back and look at that game, their idea was, I'm stopping Walter Payton, and he's not going to beat us. But you know what? We had, 10 other guys on offense, right? And I mean, that one play that Mack threw the long ball, I mean, from the end zone that Willie caught, the whole defense goes with him.
Yep.
And he got the crap kicked out of him that game. I mean, he couldn't – I mean, they just had guys spying him. He had another guy. And because of him, everybody else – scored. And and when afterwards, he was upset, and I felt horrible because I wouldn't even thought about it, And I went over and I hugged him. I said, you know what, bro? We just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. It took him a couple of days to get over it. He had his feelings hurt pretty bad, and everybody felt bad about it after the fact. But if we would have known about it, it would have been a different story. But that doesn't define him at all. But it was kind of sad at the time.
Jack, I'm glad you brought that up because everybody brings that up to me almost every single day when I see Bears fans, and I get it, I understand. But I do have a bone to pick because I want to get your take on this. Everybody talks about the Bears' 85 defense. I get it, rightfully so. But I feel like they forget to do their homework on how good your offense was. Yeah. Because of how good the defense was, the offense kind of gets left behind. But you guys statistically were really good as well.
Oh, well, we led the league in rushing, led the league in time possession. We were second in the league in scoring, led the league in first downs. That makes your defense pretty good.
Yeah.
Now our stuff was, and when you would watch it from the sidelines, you would see guys running wide open down the middle of the field on our defense. But the quarterback was on his back because that pass rush, And so it was just they were so good, and they deserve all their credit. But I think the offense was pretty good too.
All right, I want to get into a piece of business here. Jimbo Covert is. We had some help getting him. Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. Mission is to assist dire need retired NFL players who were pioneers of the game with medical financial assistance. Great cause.
Yeah.
And talk about the need for that.
It's Mike Ditka's deal, and he's the guy that pioneered all this stuff. And all we're trying to do is there's guys that played back in the 60s, 70s, early 80s, didn't make the kind of money they make today, obviously. People think you're a professional football player and you'd have all this money. It's not really the case. And then a lot of these guys have so many physical ailments and different problems that prevents them from working and, things like that. So we just try to help them with their, medical needs, financial needs, get their medications, go to their doctor's appointments, get transportation, just basic needs that people should have. And the league should take care of a lot of this stuff, but they don't. So we're going to fill in the gap, and it's Mike Ditka's, he's the guy behind it, and I just try to help out when I can. And, it's been a good run, and we're going to try to raise some money tonight again.
Fantastic. A cigar party. This is J.B. Buno.
The Wizard.
Man, I'm sitting across the table from three legends in their respective fields, you guys. My goodness. Jimbo Covert, Jared Payton, Jack Doles. I'm the non-legend here at the table, JB Buno. Jimbo, before you get up, we want to get your opinion here on our featured topic of the day, which is the coaching matchup in the Super Bowl here. Big game bound. We have, of course, our Twitter poll that is active. Andy Reid versus Kyle Shanahan. We asked on Twitter, which head coach would you rather have leading your team this Sunday? Not the better head coach, but which head coach would you rather have this Sunday? 2/3 of you picking Andy Reid, 67%. Kyle Shanahan getting 33%. So your thoughts on the coaching matchup, Mr. Covert?
Yeah, I would probably go with that as well because he's been there before, and I think he's has a lot of experience. So I think that's important. You know, this game's coming down to this is like an 85 Bear deal. This is coming down to the team that controls the football, right? And the deal is that that running game of San Francisco, that thing gets cranked up. They're going to keep the best player on the field on the bench because they're going to run the football. And if they can run the football like they ran it in the championship game, it's going to be hard for Kansas City to do it. But on the flip side of that is, you get the best player on the field. That kid can score from anywhere. It's 24-0. He comes back and scores. I mean, I don't have a feeling for it. I don't know if it's going to be a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game. I don't have a feel for it. But I think San Francisco is the better overall team defensively and offensively. But you got Mahomes. So it's a different story.
He must have been listening to Big Game Bound because that's what I've been saying all week. I mean, it's tough. You have the best player on the field who can score at will, and it doesn't matter how much he's down, but you got a balanced team with San Fran. If they can figure out a way to get that running game going, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. If he's off the field and you're controlling the clock and controlling the game on the ground, it gives you an opportunity to win. But when you get into that red zone, you got to be able to put up points, and that's the thing. In Kansas City, all season long, we see them put up points. They've had issues in the red zone, so that's going to be something to watch as well as this game unfolds on Sunday.
Yep, I agree with that.
That 49er offensive line just road graded Green Bay, which I'm sure you enjoyed.
It was fun to watch.
What we talked to Randy Grimes the other day, and just as an offensive lineman, and I'm sure I probably know the answer to this, but do you like pass blocking or run blocking better?
No, I'd rather have a lot of weight forward. I remember when it was funny in college. We beat South Carolina down there, and Danny threw like 6 touchdown passes. And then when he got hurt in the last thing, had separated his shoulder. So we were playing West Virginia in West Virginia, and my line coach Joe Moore goes, "Okay, boys, time to get a little weight forward, right?" We threw 6 passes. 1 was intercepted with our backup quarterback, and we still beat them by 17 points.
Thanks.
Because the offensive line took over, and that's what you got to do. I mean, if you can win football games, you can control football games, and when you got to make first downs to win a football game, that's when the offensive line comes in. So, I mean, I love that. I love it. I love that offensive line.
So
I like that.
So Chiefs 49ers, who has the best offensive line?
Well, I think the 49ers are running the football incredibly well. The Chiefs are better pass-blocking offensive line. So, I mean, I think they're pretty even on some of that stuff. I like the 49ers line.
Let's talk about this little picture here.
Oh, you like that? That was leading the way. That was a touchdown. That was called toss 28 angle, and that was against the Oakland Raiders, and he scored on that play right there.
Holding the football like a loaf of bread.
Of
Did you ever tell him to tuck that thing away?
I'm not saying anything to Walter Payton about carrying the football. I'm not the guy giving advice on that.
Oh man, it had to be nice having a guy like you in front, man. I mean, just thinking about that, that's awesome. I had a question because I never asked my dad this. Did he ever take care of you? Did he get you watches? Anything like
shotguns.
that? This guy. That's the reason why.
Wait a minute.
Well, listen.
I got a picture.
You guys hear that? I hear Twitter calling. Wait. So this is a Twitter moment right here. What did Walter Payton get?
He bought us shotguns. I got a picture of it right here because someone wanted to show it to me the other day.
JB, it's going to freak you out a little bit more.
Look at this. Look at this.
Here, you know what? Can we show this to the? Let's show this to the camera right there. Right here it is, coming in.
Here we go, coming in hot. See it?
Wow.
So what kind of shotgun is that?
That's a name inscribed.
That's a Browning B80. So it says presented Jimbo Covert. from your teammate Walter Payton, and on the other side it says, "Thanks for leading the way, NFL all-time rushing leader."
Yeah, man. See how cool is that? You just got a Twitter moment.
What's up, Twitter?
Pretty awesome.
What's up, Twitter?
That's pretty awesome.
Wow, that is a gun purchased by Walter Payton for Jimbo Covert.
And there's only like Walt has it, and then Matt, and I think Calvin, and the offensive line. There's only like 10 of them.
I'm telling you, man. You didn't know. Just another Twitter moment. If you went into our house in South Barrington, Illinois, in my dad's office by the last glass door, if you would have pushed it and it opened up, my dad had a shooting gallery in the house.
Oh, he had a shooting range in his house.
In the house.
Wow.
We go over there and fire stuff all the time.
And a symbolic gift, too, right? Symbolic in that it's protection, right? It's all about protection, the connection between the two of you.
Yeah,
so
we went over there with a couple pistols and shot some stuff. It was fun, man.
With the inscription, though, I mean, where do you keep that right now? Is that on a mantle?
You know what? I had it on a mantle, and now it's in my house in storage, and I gotta, when I figure out what I'm gonna do with it, that's gonna have a place of prominence in there, because I had it up on my mantle in another house, and then so I'll figure out someplace good for that.
You're awesome, man. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Jimbo. Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
Congratulations.
Jared,
We'll
love
see you. See you on
you.
Saturday.
All
Love
right,
you too,
thanks.
man.
Yep, see you. Bye.
Amazing, man. Amazing.